Hi there, Mr. Holcomb here with another episode of The Math Behind the Modules. This is Lesson 6, collecting rational number like terms. Okay, the word rational has the root word ratio. So, that is a rational number. That is a rational number. But wait, that's not a ratio. Oh, yes it is. Okay, so rational numbers are any number that can be represented as a ratio or a fraction. And like terms mean that if you have a fraction and an integer, and the integer portions get combined together, and the fractions get combined together. So I'll explain that as well. Anyhow, here's our opening exercise. Solve each problem leaving your answers in standard form. That means combining like terms. Show your steps. So it says Terry weighs 40 kilos. Janice weighs 2 3/4 kilos less than Terry. What is their combined weight? Well, Terry is 40. Okay, and combined weight means we're going to add. So 40 plus, then I'm going to put Janice's weight in parentheses, and it's 2 3/4 kilos less than, meaning minus, Terry. And when you see the word less than, you read it backwards. So you say Terry, oh, Terry's 40 kilos, minus Janice's weight, minus 2 3/4 kilos. She is 2 3/4 less than Terry's weight. So that's how you represent that. And then when you combine like terms, you would rewrite it as 40 plus 40 minus 2 3/4. So that would be 80 minus 2 3/4. Okay, and now we have another like term. So that's where we're talking about like terms. 80 minus 2 is 78 3/4. Minus 3/4. Okay, so we have to split that up. So be careful with that. So let me back that up. And I'll explain. So 40 plus 40 is 80 minus 2. But if I break this up, 2 3/4 means 2 plus 3/4. 2 and 3/4. And if I put that in parentheses and distribute, it's minus 2 minus 3/4 for a total of negative 2 3/4. All right, so now let's move on. 80 minus 2, 78 minus 3/4. Okay, well, 78 3/4 is 1/4 less than 1, so 78 minus 1 is 77, and would have that quarter remaining. So 78 minus 3/4 is 77 1/4. And it said that their combined weight, so it is 77 1/4 kilograms. Okay? So these require a little bit of work, so I would recommend you start using notebook paper more so than the modules if they aren't giving you room to do all of these. Okay, let me just erase this out of the way so I can do the next problem. Okay, B. B says 2 2/3 minus 1 1/2 minus 4/5. I have a mixed fraction, and a fraction where the numerator is less than the denominator. That's fine. Let's get rid of these mixed and make them improper. So you take the denominator times the whole number plus the numerator. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. And you put that over the original denominator. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3 over the original denominator. Don't forget there's minus in between. Minus 4/5. Okay? So the first thing we did was made the mixed fractions. Okay? Now we want to get the same denominator, like terms. So what's the greatest common factor of 2, 3, or I'm sorry, least common multiple of 3, 2, and 5. Okay? So if I took the time to do that, I would say, well, 2 is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 3 is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. 5 is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So far, I get to 6. They're here, but it's not down here. 10 is here and here, but not here. 15s, yes, so forth. So I'm having trouble finding the least common multiple. I need to keep going. So I'm going to go to 12. And that's 12, but that's not, so I have to keep going. 14, 16, I jumped over this 15, so I have to keep going. 18, 20. So here's a 20, here's a 20, so I might have to stop there. So add 3 to 15, and I get 18. And then I go to 21. Close, but not quite. And keep going. 24, and 3 is 27, and 3 is 30. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I'm onto something here because 2's even and it will go into 30. So if I go 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, there's a 30, there's a 30, there's a 30. The least common multiple of 2, 3, and 5 is 30. Okay. So to get 30 here, I have to multiply it by 10. Okay, so I'm going to start skipping a little bit of work because we've done this. So to get 30 in the bottom, I have to multiply 3 by 10. So I have to multiply the top by 10 to get 80. Minus. To get 30 from 2, I had to multiply 2 by 15. 30 times 15 is 45. 2 times 15, 30. Okay, minus. To get 30 out of 5, I have to multiply it by 6. So 6 times 4 is 24 over 6 times 5, which is 30. Now I have like terms. 80 minus 45 is 35. Minus 24 is 11 over my common denominator. And that is my answer. Okay? C, 1/5 plus a negative 4. Right? So that is 1/5 plus a negative 4. So how can we explain this? The rule is to take the bigger number and subtract the bottom number and take the sign of the bigger. If you've heard of that before. But 4 minus 1/5 would be 3 4/5, and then take the sign of the bigger. And it was negative 4. Okay. So I just did 4 minus 1/5. I ignored signs, and then I took the sign. I actually switched signs. That might confuse you. So I did the opposite of negative 4, I got 4. The opposite of 1/5, I got negative 5. 4 minus 1/5 is 3 4/5, but it has to be negative because negative 4 is bigger than negative 1/5, and therefore your answer has to be. Okay. D is multiplication. And that just simply means 4 times 3/5. You can think of 4 as 4 over 1. And multiply the numerator times the numerator, you get 12. Multiply the denominator by the denominator, 5 times 1. If I don't want to leave that as improper, 5 goes into 12 2 times, which is 10. The remainder of 2, you put your remainder over 1. E. Mr. Jackson bought 1 3/5 pounds of beef. He cooked 3/4 of it for lunch. How much does he have left? And this is a multiplication problem. So you would take 1 3/5 times 3/4. Okay, again, I can't multiply these yet, so I'm going to make them improper. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8 over 5. times 3 over 4, which is 8 times 3 is 24, 5 times 4 is 20. 20 goes into 24 once with a remainder of 4, and that reduces. 4 will go into 25 times, so that's 1/5 pounds. Okay, but be careful. It says Mr. Jackson bought this much meat. He cooked this much. How much does he have left? So we didn't answer the question. We found out how much he cooked. Okay, so there's a quarter left. So if 1 1/5 is how much is left, then we have to subtract the original minus how much we cooked. And 3/5 minus 1/5 is 2/5, and 1 minus 1 is 0. So we have 2/5 of a cup. Okay. Another way to look at that, if that was confusing, if he cooked 3/4 and it says how much does he have left, well, 1/4, because 3/4 plus 1/4 equals 4/4, which equals 1 whole, all, the entire amount total. So how much is left is a quarter if you cook 3/4. So then I could take that original 5 times 1 plus 3, take 8/5 and multiply it by 1/4 and be done in one step. 8/20. That reduces to 4/10. And that reduces to 2/5. And that's what I got. Yep. This way we multiplied what he used and then subtracted to find out what he had. This time we did it first with a fraction. Either way will give you the same answer. Okay. Rewrite the expression in standard form by collecting like terms. 2/3 n minus 3/4 n plus 1/6 n plus 2/9 n. Every variable is the same, so we can combine all of these down to one. The only concern I have is subtracting. So the first thing I'm going to do is convert these to common denominators, least common denominator. And 3 times 4 is 12, 6 will go into 12, but 9. So then try 18. 6 will go into 8. 6 times 3 is 18, but 4 won't go into 8. Okay, and we start messing around with that, we finally realize that if I worked it out like I did the last problem, like this, okay, just find all the multiples, but I'm going to speed this process up a little. You can do that if you want, pause the video. But I'm just going to tell you right now that the common denominator will be 36. So if I change the first one to 36, I have to multiply 3 by 12. So 12 times 2 is 24, and minus, if this is 36, 9 times 4 is 36, 9 times 3 is 27, and plus 6 times 6 is 36, so 6 times 1 is 636, it's the same as 1/6, and plus, and if I have 36 here, well, this is a mixed number, so first I have to do 9 times 2 is 18, plus 2 is 29. Okay, so this piece here is the same as this, and 9 times 4 is 36, and 4 times 20 is 80. Okay, so now that I have all these 36ths, now I can add and subtract and get the answer. So they're all n's, so we can work left to right because it's all addition subtraction. So 24 minus 27, I'm going to do this in steps so we don't make a mistake. 24 minus 27 is negative 3 over 36, and plus 6 over 36, and is, these add up to 3 over 36, and because negative 3 plus 6 is 3. And then finally we bring down this last piece, plus 80 over 36, and 3 plus 80 is 83 over 36, and Okay, 36 will go into 83 twice, because 36 times 2 is 72, with the remainder of 11. Okay, and there's our answer. Okay, exercise 1. Now it's your turn to try, so pause the video, see if you can do these, and once you're done, come back. Okay, first thing I do when I'm working on one of these problems is look at all the terms. So I see a term that has a variable g. Then I see a term that has no variable, so that's called a constant. Then I see another term that has a g. And then I see another term that has a g. Everything I circled in blue are like terms. 1/6 is a constant, and 4/5 is a constant. They are like terms. I can combine those. So, if I take 2/5 g, I'm going to rearrange this. 2/5 g minus g plus 3/10 g minus 1/6 minus 4/5. So I took all the g's and did it in blue. I just rewrote them in that order, and I wrote this 1/6 over here next to my other like term. Now I'm going to simplify these, and I'm going to squeeze this in here. 1 is the same as 5 over 5. I have a 10, a 5, and a 5, so my least common denominator is 10. And I had to multiply 5 times 2, so that's going to be the same as 4g, 4/10 g, minus 10/10 g, plus 3/10 g. I'm going to do the same with this. Least common, it is 30. 6 times 5. That's 2 numbers, it's easy. 5 times 6 is 30, so 5 times 1 is 5. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 4 is 20. And we're now starting to get this cleaned up. And I forgot my sign here. It's minus. Right in between there. It's like minus. So 4 minus 10 is -6, plus 3 is -3/10 g. -5 minus 24 is a -29/30. So my answer is -3/10 g minus 29 over 30. I cannot reduce that. This is my answer. Okay, -3/10 g minus 29/30. Okay, moving on to B. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to circle my like terms. Keep the sign with the term. H, no, I, here's another I. The rest are H's. Okay, it would be a bad idea for you to get colored pencils and do this exact same thing. So I circled my I's in red and my H's in green. I'm now going to combine like terms, so I'm looking at I plus 6I minus 3/7 I plus 1/2 I. I just put all the reds first. I moved this 1/3 over here. Now it's plus 1/3 H minus H plus 1/4 H. I plus 6I is a like term because they're both integers, and it's 7I. I can add these two. -3/7 plus 1/2. I need to find a common denominator. Okay, so it's going to be 14. 14. 2 times 7 is 14. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 2 is 14. 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, so there's 7I minus 6/14 plus 7/14. I'm going to continue with this until I get down to my I's down to 1. -6 plus 7 is plus 1/14. 7 plus 14 is 7 and 1/14 I. Okay, so I'm done the red. Move on to the green. Combine my fractions, so I'm going to rewrite this as minus h plus 1/3 h plus 1/4 h. I got the one that's a whole number in front, the two fractions together. So I can rewrite that as minus h. I have a common denominator of 12. I had to multiply 3 by 4, so top 4 times 1. Okay, I had to multiply the 4 by 12 to get, or multiply the 4 by 3 to get 12. 3 times 1 is 3. So now I have negative h plus 7/12 h, 4 plus 3. Well, h1 is 12/12. So my final answer is going to be 7 1/14 I. And this is a negative 12/12 plus 7/12, which is a negative 5/12 h. And that is my final answer. Okay. Example 2. At a store, a shirt was marked down in price by $10. A pair of pants doubled in price. So, shirt marked down $10. Pants doubled. Following these changes, the price of every item in the store was cut in half. Okay. After they changed that, they cut every price in half. Write two different expressions that represent the new costs of the items. Okay. So, the shirt, for starters, is, let's call that S. Shirt minus 10. Okay, and that would be the shirt. But then after that change, everything in the store was half price. So there's 1/2 S minus 10. Okay? So when I distribute this, 1/2 times S is 1/2 S. 1/2 times 10 is minus 5. So it's 1/2 S minus 5. That's the cost of the shirt. Now I need to do the same thing for the pants. A pair of pants doubled in price. So if P was pants, the price doubled would be 2P. Then if I take half off after, and then distribute or multiply, 1/2 times 2 is 1, simply P. We're back to the original price. Okay. Exercise 2. Write two different expressions that represent the total cost of these items if tax was 1/10 of the original price. Explain the different information it shows. Okay. So we're going back, and I need to look at that again. So the shirt is 1/2 S minus 10. Okay, 1/2 S minus 10. So I'm going to write that here. There's the shirt. And then I will do the pants over here, and the pants was 1/2 2P. Okay. So when we tax something, it's added to the cost. And tax is 1/10 the original price. So it's going to be plus 1/10 S, price of the shirt. Okay. Over here it's going to be plus 1/10 P. Okay. Write two different expressions. So now I can fix this and I can multiply through and say 1. Let me change back to black. Okay, so if I distribute, I get 1/2 S minus 5 plus 1/10 S. And if I combine like terms, rearrange this, I can say 1/2 s plus 1/10 s minus 5. And then I can combine those two. Okay, 1/2 plus 1/10. Common denominator is 10. 1/2 is 5/10 plus 1/10 s minus 5. So 5/10 plus 1/10 is 6/10 s minus 5. Okay, so there's another way to represent that. If I do the same here, I'm going to get 1/2 times 2, which is 1p, plus 1/10 p, and p is 10 over 10. That's the same as 1. So 10 plus 1 is 11 tenths. Okay? So there's one way, there's the other. So represented two different ways. Alrighty? I'm going to stop the video here, and I'm going to take up the rest of this because it's a lengthy video, a lengthy lesson, and I'll do part 2 in a second.